Hey guys, it's Jess, and welcome back to the Average Bear podcast. As you can see, things are a little bit different today because this is not a podcast episode. This is a YouTube video. And as you can see from the title below, that is because we are playing a game that is very, very visual. This game requires visual aids and would not make for audio only entertainment. So here we are on YouTube, and we are going to play the Newlywed Game with the Average Bear podcast's resident astrologer, Shannon, who is also my co-host on another podcast, but she will be joined today by her new podcast's co-host, Emily. And please stay tuned to the end of the episode. You're not going to want to miss them talking about this new podcast. The project that they've been working on it's original. It's so interesting. They're crazy knowledgeable and passionate about it. It's such a fun concept. So stay tuned to the end to hear them talk all about that. But as always, the links, I'm going to tell you now ahead of time, all the links for all of their business are going to be in the description below. So don't forget to check them out. Before this video starts, subscribe to the Average Bear podcast, both here and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to like, rate, let me know, give me some feedback. And without further ado, here's the Newlywed Game. We're going to play the Newlywed Game today.
Yay!
And so do you know how to play the Newlywed Game? Would you like a refresher?
I
think I know because I watch a lot of Seth Meyers.
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, it's like you're asked one question and you try to like.
Don't look at my paper. We'll do the flirty. Don't look at my paper. Don't cheat.
We'll write like this, and then we show at the same time.
Exactly.
And,
and then you'll discuss. We'll talk about it. Do you want to give a little background as to why I've selected you two to do this specific Newlywed Game?
Like ask us like how we got to know each other and stuff, and why we were like astrology newlyweds, basically.
Yes. What has brought us here today? Yeah.
Emily is my astrology wife, but not really my astrology wife, more like my astrology sister because we are chart twins. And so what that means is it's not rare per se, but it's definitely rare to meet them. Like, so a chart twin essentially is somebody who has the same chart as you. And I'm not talking like
just the big
three. My God, yeah, we have the same big three, the same sun and moon. No. Like every single part of your chart, down to the rising sign, like the house setup, all the like everything. Like we have the
almost
same
everything.
Chart. Yeah, the only difference in our chart is it's
our midheaven and our ICs are on different axes.
Yes, and the midheaven and the IC is like so if you have the ascendant, which is so all of us here are Gemini risings, right? So with the ascendant, you have the descendant, so it's a line like this, a horizontal line, ascendant, descendant. So the midheaven and the IC, which is also MC, so MC or the IC MC is the vertical line. And the vertical line usually, so the IC typically falls in the 4th and the midheaven in the 10th, but sometimes it can be the 9th or the 3rd or the 11th or the 5th.
It's like the 12 o'clock of your chart.
Yeah. I mean, it's the highest point of
which
the chart.
Means the IC is the 6 o'clock of your chart.
So if you were born at noon, your sun is going to be in the 10th house of your chart because it's going to be literally the sun was at high noon when you were born. It is at the highest part of the chart. So at like golden hour, people always like astrologers love to be like, oh, love getting that 8th house sun because typical golden hour is that part of the sky where it's so the 7th house is sunset. Wow. So the 8th house is golden hour because it's that part of that time of this day where the sun is moving through the 8th house. So
yeah, so we have very similar charts, as Shannon mentioned. Like so the IC and the midheaven, our 12 or 6 o'clocks are kind of slightly different angles.
Yeah, well, it's funny because yours is more like 1 and 7, where I'm 6 and 10 and 6 and noon. My midheaven is in Pisces, and my IC is in Virgo, and Emily's midheaven is in Aquarius, and the IC is in Leo. And that changes things because, for instance, we both have Pisces moons, but since my midheaven is in Pisces, my moon interacts more with my midheaven, whereas her midheaven is in Aquarius. We have Saturn Aquarius, so her Saturn is on her midheaven. So there are different themes. So like, for instance, we're sitting here and we're like talk about our life, and we're like, oh my God, that exact thing happened to me, but in a slightly different tweak. Like something was tweaked. There was or certain things happen. Like I'm trying to think of
In
a
different
direct
orders.
example
Well,
of
we
the difference of
also-
the ICs. I mean, our parents.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like our relationship to our family, it's eerily similar in that there is like so we both have third house Leo Chiron, so that means we
both have
have
similar sibling
nuanced-
issues.
Yeah, nuance, but that's like nuanced sibling
Yes.
relationships.
Gotcha.
Like it's not the clear. Oh my God!
Because the third house
like,
rules siblings, by the way.
Yeah, because it's not the classic like God made us siblings, but life made us best friends. We don't really have that.
Like I mean, I love my brother, my best friend ever. I love my brother, but it's like it's a lot. It's love,
a lot more nuanced.
And we both are like, man, I would go to the fucking ends of the fucking for my sibling, but at the same time, also, I will fight them. I see right through you. I will.
Yes.
So we just know them.
But then our relationship to our parents is like of the similar theme. It's almost like it's just like two sides of the same coin.
So the IC, the midheaven and the MC is talked about more often in astrology. Like it way more common. It's the IC isn't even shown in your chart, but it's the just like the descendant isn't shown in your chart as like a point or something, like the ascendant and the midheaven, but those are there and they are a thing. The IC is typically the fancy word is intercoeli. It's like some very fancy, it's like a very weird star sciencey word. But they didn't even come up with the nickname because the midheaven is the middle coeli or whatever. But they were like, oh, we'll give that midheaven. That sounds nice. They didn't think, why did they give IC something? We should come up with something for them.
We should, because we did so much IC work.
Because also, but you can't call it hell, which mid-hell. Lower, I mean, it low-key kind of is. I mean, but essentially the IC bottom of your chart versus MC top of your chart. The IC is like where you come from almost. It's like, because the ascendant is where you are, like your personhood is born, but your family is tightly aligned with your IC. So,
and it could also be your community.
I think
third house is also community, right?
Like community, neighborhood, like the people, because the third house generally rules anybody that you're kind of spending super close time to, but isn't necessarily related to you except for your siblings. So, and like cousins, but like I'm thinking like your besties that like come into your house and your parents are like, oh hey, what's up? Like they let you do whatever. That's like third house friends, whereas there's also the best friends that are your seventh house friends, but they don't come into your house like they fucking live there. That's the third house people. So
and fourth house is like fourth house is traditionally family, so
and like culture and heritage.
The fact that the IC can swing between either your third house, your fourth house, and your fifth house, which is the house of like creativity and partnership,
and also inner child and
childhood.
That's it, because that's a big one for the IC and the fifth house people. Is the inner child stuff. Taylor Swift.
That's where I thought of the fifth house. So we have differences in that, which that also means we have slightly
Jess
different.
has Aquarius midheaven with Saturn in the midheaven too.
Oh,
just like you.
Yes, I remember.
I knew. I was like, she doesn't have Pisces midheaven. She's too much.
No, Jess, you and I have that in common, where we are Aquarius midheaven with Saturn on our midheaven point, which is
much more worker bee types. Me, I'm the kind of like, I don't dream of labor.
Meanwhile, I can't stop dreaming of labor.
Literally, Jess, I
want to be
like,
working.
Hey, I made like 6 show notes. Like I need to keep working.
We hadn't even recorded our first episode of our podcast, and she had fucking 5 episode outlines going. I was like, what?
Yes, and it was like all in the middle of the night. Like, hey, I've been researching in the middle of the night because I can't sleep because Mars is in our first house and I'm not sleeping. So like, let's just be productive.
Have you also not been sleeping for the past like
month?
No, but I mean, like, how often do I text you about like productive type things at like 5 o'clock in the fucking morning?
Oh, that's right. When I text you too.
midheaven Aquarius people, y'all.
Like,
Yeah,
I am
you're
up,
brutally.
and when I'm up, I'm
Yeah.
ready to go. My day has started.
Yes, because you also have the Aquarius Saturn on your midheaven, so it's like supercharged. Like our work ethic is like especially supercharged. Like I remember in high school, someone's like, even when you don't know how to get it done, I have no doubt that your work ethic will make sure you get it done.
That's been like
literally
the job that I just left. Like the big thing at my job was like like we joked that I was the charcuterie fairy, because all they would do is say like, this is what we need, and it would just appear. Like I would go in for 2 days, and like no matter what list they made, like everything that they needed was done. It didn't matter if I broke my back, like a 9-hour day, whatever. Like if you tell me you need it, I will make sure that you have it.
I think Jess might be my midheaven
twin. I was gonna say also, I just had this thought too that charcuterie is absolutely Saturnian with food, because it's aged and dried, and you have to
like very specific science.
Like some charcuterie, yes, it is down to everything has to be correct. Like it is a true craft. Wow.
Wow, it's actually making me think charcuterie might be similar to data viz design work then, because it's both like and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's both speaking as a data visualization designer, like as a developer, like it's a lot of like, okay, the data pipelines have to be working, and I have to validate all the data and make sure everything's just right and working within the parameters, making sure the people consuming it's like aligned to what they want. But then there's also this creativity being like, all right, well, like I have choices and like how I want to display data, or how I want to what's the color fonding, what's the alignment. So it's a lot of like merging of like something
that's exactly
really
it,
and having to find like creativity to personalize it for someone else, because Saturn on the midheaven, we're always working for someone else. So that's fascinating. I'm learning something every day.
Yeah, I know that's it, the nail on the head, because like it's still food, so you get to play around with like ingredients and flavors and spices and stuff like that, but due to like safety and consumption, like your nitrate percentage has to be accurate, like your salt percentage, your curing time like has to be completely accurate, but there's still an air of like it's still food, so it's still creative. So that's
and you're also using parts of an animal that aren't typically like, people wouldn't look at them and be like, yeah, I'm gonna eat that pig ear right now. But you're like able to be like, no, but I'm gonna fit it into this and I'm going to make it edible, essentially. Like
this is so interesting.
Jess has brought over some insane charcuterie.
Wow.
So anyway, fun fact.
Anyway,
love that y'all have and you have basically, what is your midheaven degree at? It's at 20.
I don't know.
Well, Jess isn't much younger than
mine,
this. No, I'm looking at, I'm asking Emily. I know yours.
Because my Saturn's at 13. I think my midheaven's at like 20. 23?
Yeah, her midheaven's at 22.
Yeah, and what's mine? So, like 23, right?
Yeah, I think something
yeah,
around
because
there. Because Gemini risings can't have much of a crazy. And also, y'all are both born in Jersey. And the midheaven in whole sign charts, the midheaven changes based on like, usually when you're closer to, so like if you're on the globe, right? If you're thinking about literal latitude, longitude shit. If you're in places like me, where I'm in Texas, I'm kind of down more on the globe in a wider like space. But the midheaven, oh no, this is exactly what it is, because one time I did a chart for someone who was like from somewhere in like a very ridiculous country. I can't remember what it was, but her midheaven was in like the fucking 12th house.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Insane. Like, remember when we looked at Prince William's chart and his midheaven is in the fucking 11th house?
Exactly. So it's like when you're born in like higher up on the globe where it's it's fast. So I think below, maybe on the bottom is flip. Either way, but it has to do with that, because again, Taylor too, born in Pennsylvania, has also the 11th house midheaven. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to calculate where I need to travel to birth babies.
Literally, yeah.
I mean, like do the math. That way, I make sure that I'm like in a proper spot for setting them up for success.
That's an astrocartography question.
Yeah.
That's another full ass episode.
Hey.
But anyway, yeah. But we're chart twins.
Yeah, and just to kind of also,
we met on Twitter.
The only other thing
you met on Twitter
outside of our IC and midheaven. Oh, yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Wait, what is the other?
That's
what do you
Well, is that my Pisces moon is a natal void moon.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is why we have the joke that I'm always 2 years behind you because my moon is in a later degree of Pisces than yours.
So because again, so we're born. Emily is the day after me. Born the day after me.
But we were born in different places. I was born in New Jersey. Shannon was born in Texas.
Yes. Hence again, different midheavens. But I so my Pisces moon is like my Pisces moon is at 19 degrees.
Yeah.
And
you're in a Neptune transit.
Yeah. I know. My Pisces moon is at 19 degrees, and the moon moves really quickly. So by the time Emily was born, Emily was a 29 degree Pisces moon, and that means that her moon is void. And so every so often, the moon, and I say every so often because it usually it's the end about the end of every moon transit. But excuse me, sometimes there's like much longer void moons. Like sometimes there's a void moon like all day long, and it's those days that you wake up and nothing's wrong, but you're just like, I don't want to do this today. And it's not like you have anything that's particularly going off about it, but it's just like, and so what a void moon means is that the moon is not making any aspects to other planets. Usually it's not like interacting with other stuff, and it's about to change signs.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's barely a Pisces moon, but thank God.
I'm still Pisces. And it's like I barely have that trine.
Yeah.
Because we both have the grand water trine, which is why I was like, I'm not a true natal void. It's very like,
yeah, it's weird. But so that being said, my moon not void, Emily's moon void, and I am like, it's funny how we'll talk about stuff that we've done in life, and it's just like Emily's just like slightly behind, not behind in a bad way, but like we're doing the same things. It's just that Emily is just like trailing and was like later,
like running on a lag,
like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is great for me knowing Shannon, because then I'm like, all right, well, like roughly 2 years, like I will be somewhere around here.
Yeah, Emily gets to like buffer
or
for
even
a
just
little
like
bit.
general, yeah. Yeah, I'm the one that gets to figure it out first. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So anyway, yes, we did meet on Twitter, but not really on Twitter. Like, so we met, I will say, because of Twitter. Like, because Emily followed me on Twitter, but hadn't interacted with me. It was just being a classic little Scorpio Mercury, just lurking. But we both met in person at a cookbook event, which was the Your Astrological Cookbook by an astrologer, Catherine Urban. And she did a meetup cookbook release party in the 4 times 2019. And I literally walked in, and Emily immediately walked up to me and was like, hi, I think I'm your chart twin.
Because I saw, so as Shannon mentioned, like I was being a classic Scorpio Mercury and was like on Twitter, like looking people up, and there was like this trend of like people trying to find their chart twins. And at the time, like my knowledge of a chart twin was like, okay, if we have the same big 3 was like what people were calling it. So I was like on Twitter, and I remember, I think it was because you had put your Venus playlist. I think that's how I found you.
Yeah, that was when I was yes.
Yeah,
that gave me like the most followers.
Yeah,
early on.
and I saw her, and I was like, I think we have the same big 3 because we both put it in our bios. And then I was like, oh, it would be cool to talk to her, but like also like Scorpio Mercury and very shy. I was like, I'm not gonna respond to her. I'm just gonna like look from afar and see if she's cool. And I was talking to someone at the party, our friend Ursula Rising, and then Shannon walked through the door, and my little eyes like lit up.
Well, it's funny, and I also recognized who Emily was talking to from Twitter, so I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk to her, like for sure."
And then I just was like, "Nope, you're gonna talk to me."
No, but it's great because she's like, we think you're my chart twin, and I was like, "Really?" And I was just like, "What is your chart?" And we just were talking about it. I was like, "When were you born?" And she was like, "December 3rd," and I was like, "What?"
Oh, the same year.
Yeah, it was wild.
Wait,
so,
oh my gosh! So you're the 2nd, you're the 3rd.
Second,
Jared's
3rd.
the 4th.
Yep.
Of 92?
Yeah.
Aries moon.
Oh man,
that makes sense because he's the Aries moon and then that's why his chart felt so familiar. Wow.
That's so funny.
That's really
interesting.
Wait, do you know his rising sign off the top of your head?
No, I don't. Are we ready to start this Newlywed Game?
I was gonna say
Because we're gonna plug your
real
podcast
quick.
at the end.
Oh, we wanted to talk about.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was gonna say we're chart twins and now we have a podcast, but we'll talk about the podcast later.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk. We're gonna talk about the podcast. Don't you worry. We're not gonna forget about the podcast.
And
All
we
right.
are ready. We have
So
our
just
books.
perfect. Just to reiterate for listeners, I'm going to ask them which sign or which placement is most least likely to ... They're going to write down the sign that they think, and we're going to reveal, and we're going to see just how similar these minds work with them being chart twins. I'm very excited.
Don't look at me. Don't look at
No cheating.
No cheating. I swear I won't. I don't want to cheat on this. This will be too fun.
I'm excited to see. This is an experiment. Plus,
we can always we'll just do this. We'll just turn.
Okay, so we're gonna start. Like I told you guys, I've got some vague ones, and then I've got some incredibly specific ones. We're gonna start pretty easy, and the very first one that I have is simple, starting us off slow, nice little softball. Which sign is most likely to be a control freak in a relationship?
In a relationship?
In a romantic relationship.
Are we like
we're just doing
of the 12?
Just the sign of the 12, yeah. Because we'll do placement questions later where we do like Cat Venus or like we'll get more specific.
Yeah.
So a sign most likely to be controlling in a relationship.
Are you like a top 3 or it has to be just
Nope,
one?
we're just picking one. Come on. I mean, I could
Oh God, but it's
I feel if we're trying to make the same answer.
We're checking out this chart twin telepathy.
All right. Are you ready?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Show me. Yes.
Yeah, Virgo.
I want you to know
Virgo was my second choice. I almost wrote Virgo.
We love it. We're starting off strong. I love this.
Yeah, bravo.
Sure.
My second choice is Scorpio.
Yeah. They could get like I would say Scorpio with me.
I love hearing Olivia in the background. I love it. We have like a third person. All right.
Wow, that was fun. Wow.
Okay, it's only
going
to get better.
Like we're gonna just pick different things.
No, this is incredible, and I'm so excited. This is a good sign moving forward. The next one I've got for you is which sign, same, just out of the 12, is most likely to show out at karaoke badly.
Badly?
Okay,
but like still show out.
I had the answer.
Oh God, it's just really hard to pick one sign. What'd you put?
Are you done?
I'm done.
You ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! You know what's funny is that was also my thought, but I was still thinking that Leo would still do it badly if they didn't give a shit.
Oh, you know.
Well, no, maybe they wouldn't actually.
No, because Leos are like giant. Sorry, Jess, but Leos.
No,
are like
this is what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Giants are like Leos are like giant cats, and a cat is not gonna make a fool of itself in public.
Damn, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's my big thing is don't publicly embarrass me. Do whatever you want to do, but don't embarrass me in public.
Good
Like,
point.
whereas I put
that's
Taurus.
I also know that was my second thought because I just know too many Taurus people who will fucking ball out at
Well, that
karaoke.
also, but I was thinking Taurus is like even though it's ruled by Venus, so it's like it's just gonna dig in and be like, no, this is the way the song's supposed to go.
There is a key change here. You just didn't know it.
I'm just enlightened and I know more. Like, no, this is my artistic license.
Oh my god.
Wow. All right, I'm convinced.
I love
I'm
this.
like yelling. I'm just really hyped.
No, this is amazing.
Okay.
I love the energy. It's fun. All right.
Okay.
Which sign is most likely to apologize first after an argument?
I'm gonna just be over here, not looking.
I'm gonna go on a limb on this one.
Oh,
We like limbs. I love a good limb.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb.
I'm trying to think how we would think. I'm trying to be right on the.
Ready?
Ooh.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh.
I almost
So
went
us?
Pisces.
So us, you mean?
I was
Because
definitely-
literally me, I'm happy to immediately apologize unless it's like a really wrong thing where I'm like, no.
Where you're like,
So,
no,
I
you're
didn't-
right.
I like though because we both picked Jupiter signs, which was exactly where I was oscillating between. I was like, it's got to be someone mutable. I was like, all right, well, it's not going to be Virgo because Virgos will will apologize but not actually apologize. They'll be like, I'm sorry that
If I hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, or I'm sorry that like dinner didn't go well, but maybe if you didn't, blah blah blah. Like, so it's like you didn't even apologize.
But maybe if you didn't act like a bit. Yeah.
Gemini.
I'm
would
sorry
be
that
like-
you.
Yeah, and then Geminis would be like, we had an argument. Like what, bud?
I didn't realize that was an argument. We were just discussing things.
I thought we were just talking about it. Like, I'm not mad at you. So I
But
ended
Jupiter.
up. Well, I ended up going with against the Pisces because Pisces was really close. Like I was oscillating between Sagittarius and Pisces. But with Pisces, I feel like sometimes like this isn't a drag on like anyone in my life I know. You know, but I know some Pisces people who they don't always bounce back as well. Like they really and we are all guilty of it. But
You're right.
like I feel like Pisces of the Jupiter signs, Pisces is the one least like is on the similar lag of me to you on our moon sign. Like the Pisces moon is like a little slower to bounce back versus the Sagittarius is like fire and is like,
Yeah.
I'll bounce back. It's fine.
I went with Pisces because typically, especially if it's something that like if a Pisces feels like they upset someone, they're very quick to want to apologize because Pisces like doesn't like the idea that they have like hurt a being. And so it's but it's all the similar because Sagittarius bounce back 100%. I'm like that as a Sagittarius sun, just like
Jared is
let's
too.
apologize and get this done. Let's push it back.
Same.
Next, like, but Pisces, they dwell, but I feel like it just depends on who the argument's with.
And I also like how we both kind of framed it differently. Like you were like, yeah, who would actually apologize for actually answering the question? Whereas I was like, well, I mean, like I would think the Sag is quickest because they're like, oh, sorry,
Let's just get
like,
over it.
Yeah.
Oh, my
let's just
bad.
move on.
I
My
think
bad,
that's
sorry.
fair. I think those are both pretty fair answers.
But we both picked Jupiter signs. So we're all
That's that Gemini rising, Shannon, we've talked about, like the twins back to back, like coming from the same place. Yep, there we go.
But slightly,
we look like a 90s twin. Like it takes two.
This is like the what was the movie poster for like Billboard Dad? Or like Passport to Paris.
Billboard Dad.
So good.
Those are my two favorites of the Olsen franchise movies. Also,
Passport to Paris, iconic.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Nostalgia.
Good all Olsen twins. I mean, hey, we're millennials. We can't get around anything without nostalgia.
It's our childhood. So this next one is a little more specific. So I'm curious to see what you guys will say because this has happened to me. So I know which sign in my life is most likely to do this. But which sign is most likely to steal from you and then help you look for what they've stolen?
Oh no, I'm stuck on two immediately.
I'm so curious if like you're gonna clock it. I'm curious like what these are gonna say.
Okay, wait, but I'm trying to think about what you're gonna think about because I'm trying to play this game. I'm trying to get us on the same.
I'm just trying to answer. I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying to learn.
You're so cute. Okay, wait. The
Oh,
most
God.
likely to steal your stuff, but also.
But then like help you
God,
look
there's,
for
like,
it
a
after
very-
they've stolen it.
Well, it's so hard.
This is a sign still, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, this is hard, Shannon, because if you pick the second question, my second option, I would have been like, yeah, that's on the nose.
I'm really struggling on this one too.
Yeah, because
I have an obvious answer that I feel like is the obvious, but I don't. My problem is I feel like I know maybe who Jess might be talking about, and I don't necessarily think that it's as obvious.
Well, and then I'm thinking like
I
me
love
first.
this.
Fuck it, I'm gonna answer.
Yeah, come on, be you. Be honest. It's not about winning. It's okay.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, but
Wow, Mercury. We really Mercury.
Okay.
because Both of these are ruled by, okay, wait, what was the sign that did
It was a Virgo.
Let's go!
Yeah, Virgos. I mean, one of the most the dirty trickster, Roger Stone, political mastermind that essentially got us Trump. Hate him. He's a Virgo. We can't sleep on Virgo people being fucking A, assholes, and B, tricky as fuck. Damn. Wow. Bravo.
So that's why you picked Gemini?
Oh yeah, I picked Gemini because Gemini is, I mean, I was like,
Trickster.
this is the classic, and also the double, the twin idea, the double of like, oh, I did this, but also I'll look for it for you. Like, and Geminis are so good at lying.
Now that you say Gemini, I was like, oh man, I could have said Gemini, but Gemini is so fun loving that it's like, I don't want to play this game on you. Like, I want to do something even more.
Oh, if they're
fun.
trying to steal from someone, though,
no, that is true.
If they're already actively like, I would steal from you, then they don't give a fuck. That Gemini would be like,
yeah. Meanwhile, Virgo is like the opposite coin of being like, I have done so much for you that I'm sick of picking up your crap. So
this thing I stole from you.
I deserve this. And that's why the second part of the question is like, who would steal something from you and watch you look for it? It's like Virgo is like petty.
It was help you look for it.
Yeah, but not really help you.
They're like, oh yeah, like, oh, what's that? Oh wow, oh no, I can't. I wonder where it went.
They're like checking inside the dryer, like somewhere where they know it's definitely.
Like,
I'm also thinking of my mom because my mom is a Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, and she is. That's why I was oscillating between Virgo sun and Scorpio moon and Scorpios because my mom has actually done that to me growing up. I am my mom who loves order and things to be organized. I am the transit test of her life to see if she can handle someone just being a clutter baby.
And that's on both of us having Earth sign parents.
That's
Earth sign moms. Well, we have Earth sign moms, and then our dads have opposite sun and moons and rising signs. My dad is a double Aries with a Virgo rising, and her dad is a double Libra with a Pisces rising.
The chart twinness is wild.
No, it's like
it's
really wild.
We learn something new every day.
All the time. It's crazy.
And
it's so cute.
I'm so lucky to have you.
Seriously, I recommend literally everybody to find their chart twin somehow, if possible, because damn.
And it's not even like, okay.
It's like so much easier to process shit when you have someone else who's like processing the same thing, but like in a different angle.
Yeah.
We'll help you. I'll tweet about it.
Yeah. And it's like fascinating as like astrologers. Like meeting Shannon like supercharged my astrology learning because number one, I finally had like a friend to be like.
Which is key. If you like astrology and don't have a friend to talk to about it, you won't. Yeah. You literally won't learn. Astrology is a language. You have to speak to it about it's Mercury astrology by Mercury, baby. Yeah.
And also, like, I was looking for friends, and I was like, oh my god, I have this cool ass chick to talk about astrology with.
Oh my
like,
god,
what have
meanwhile,
I
think
right?
She's so cool. Her like job, both her jobs that she's had this time I've known her.
Both seem pretty cool.
She's just.
You're so cool. Oh my god.
We're both cool, and Jess, you're cool too.
But yeah,
titling this episode "Cool People Play the Newlywed Game."
What up? But then also like talking and getting to know you, like as an astrologer, it ended up challenging everything I knew about that I thought and learned about myself because suddenly I had to be like, well, this applies to me, but does it also apply to Shannon who has the literal almost exact same chart?
It's been
okay,
and it's honestly it's also true a true proof of nature and nurture, right?
Yes.
Like where we have the same chart, but hey, guess what, guys? Like you can have the exact same chart almost as somebody and still have a completely different life because oh my god, shocking. You're your own person with your own experiences. And so Emily and I have very different lives in the way, like Emily, for instance, has not lived out of her home state yet. I've lived in multiple states that are not my home state. My parents are divorced. My parents are all over. My family is all over the place. Like Emily has her family all lives in one of her immediate family. I'm not talking immediate, like my brother, my dad, and my mom all live in 3 separate states. Whereas her brother or sister, dad and mom live in the same house. So it's like it's been interesting how it's like, yeah, we have these different things, except for the fact that a lot of our experiences, and also like, I mean, when you meet someone with the same rising sign as you, no matter what, you're gonna have these similar, like, especially at the same age, you're gonna have these similar patterns of just shit popping up in your life because you have the same house setup. So even me and you, Jess, like, all of us probably have similar, themes of different stuff because of the way that our houses are set up. So good shit.
I love this. I
So
love
so
learning
wonderful.
so much.
So grateful for you.
I know, I love teaching. We love teaching. That's our
Yes.
you love learning, Saturn 9th. We love teaching, Saturn 9th. Hey. We also love learning though too.
Oh, yes.
Sagittarius suns, Gemini
I mean,
risings.
Mercury ruled, man. It's part for the course.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, are you ready for the first placement
Next
one?
game. This is fine.
This is gonna be your first placement
Oh,
one.
let's get more. Okay, also, I'm gonna just say this right now. We should just do only personal. Like no unless it's like maybe a Jupiter, because Jupiter and Saturn is just so broad. We could do like, I'm thinking like if we were doing like Aquarius Saturn.
Oh yeah.
We should just do up until like Mars, like Sun, Moon, Rising, and
the
Mercury
big three
through
and
Mars.
the little three.
Yeah.
Big three and little three.
So we're gonna ignore Jupiter through Pluto just because then we'll have way too many options.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. All right. This is
and it's their generation.
Jupiter is.
Well, we could do Jupiter.
Yeah.
But Saturn, it's just like
Saturn onwards, because I feel like there's gonna be something that's very on the nose Jupiter. I already feel it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do Jupiter.
all right.
Okay, we'll include Jupiter.
Maybe.
We'll see.
This one is, which placement is most likely to like throw bows and get violent in order to catch a bouquet at a wedding?
Wait, I have a question. Do we assign a sign plus planet, or is it? This is
I feel like this is a sign and planet.
Okay.
Placement. Cool. I already have. Oh man, my marker is.
You're like, let me think this one out.
My marker was just getting a little dry, so I had to get really hardcore.
Oh God, I'm like really stuck.
I'm just going, instead of thinking super hard, I'm thinking about keywords and then going from there. So she was like throwing hands at a wedding.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, I mean, it would be kind of on the nose if it was.
It would be on the nose.
But I know the problem is I know people with that placement that's making me like question it.
Nah, whatever.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Let's see.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I almost went Libra Venus! Oh my God, I almost did Libra Mars! Yeah, like look at how we have the opposite ends we have literally the opposite Aries and Libra and then the opposite Mars and Venus.
It's because you said throwing hands that I was
but
like,
I'm like,
Aries.
Mars is throwing hands and Libra's the one that's like, let's get that bouquet!
Well, that's what I was thinking, because I was like, oh my God. Libras
but in Aries Venus would do the same thing.
I know, Libras love to get married. Libras
will get married like
Libras
5 times for funsies. They'll get divorced because it's fun.
I know several people with very strong Libra placements who are like, I'm a serial monogamous, and I just go, wow, shocker.
And the other thing is too, that's why Libras, when they're single, are insufferable, because they are constantly have someone to flirt with. So they're like always have some boo or whatever. But it's just like this is a really good one.
This is truly good, because it's like,
because what's funny about this is the power of different delineations. This person and that person would do it. It just depends. Because again, like fighting for the bouquet of flowers, Venus, but also fighting for Good job. This is fun.
This is so fun.
Really
We're gonna do another episode of this.
All right. The next one I have is,
I like how the only one we had the same first one. So good.
All right. The next one that I've got is, which placement, and keywords are important here. Which placement is likely to organize a tacky flash mob as a surprise? Keyword tacky.
God. Okay, tacky flash mob.
As a surprise. Like they think that you're going to love it. Like they think that you're going to just enjoy this flash mob. But it's like to a Bruno Mars song in the middle of downtown Disney or something.
I'm gonna pick.
This is a drag on.
Drag him. Grab him by the hair and just do it.
I just like.
I have great reasons.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh God, I'm like oscillating between one. I mean, it's a Venus sign. I just have to decide
I'm also
on
a
one.
Venus. Yeah, mine's a
I
Venus
just
sign.
have to decide on the Venus sign. Oh God. If it's they would be so all in to organize a tacky flash mob, but it's tacky. Oh God.
It's funny. I have a second option that I maybe would have done, but this one just I have traditional
I
reasonings.
can't. I'm so excited.
I have a kind of a throw in the dark, but I'm gonna do it. All right,
Yeah.
ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, Virgo Venus, and I got a Scorpio Venus.
What again? Same wavelength because Venus would fall versus Venus in
Detriment.
detriment.
That's also
But
why I went.
a Scorpio would literally never do that.
Unless that Scorpio has really bad taste.
Maybe a Sagittarius Sun, Scorpio Venus.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But never like a super Scorpio heavy Scorpio Venus person would literally never. But a Virgo Venus, they love a plan. But the problem with Venus in fall is that typically it ends up being like a very overdone plan that has been taken so long to do, and then by the time it's actually produced, it doesn't even work anymore. That's literally Venus in fall. That's why Virgo is in fall and Venus. It's like Virgo wants to plan everything way too much. You can't plan romance. You can for certain parts, but true love, that stuff, you can't plan it. It can't be organized.
That's true.
And Virgos.
I feel frozen.
I'm sorry, but Virgos, you don't have.
I heard Olivia.
I can't look at Olivia right now.
I know. I'm literally looking at my. That's why I was like, I can't look at my literal girlfriend sitting next to me with a Virgo Venus.
Do I plan stuff too much?
No, baby, you're fine. You plan all the perfect things. Come
Mom, Dad,
Oh my god.
y'all okay?
All right, guys,
We're
you
good.
got.
No, it's a fun little roasty roast.
What have you done?
I've got 2 more, and then we're gonna talk about your podcast in length. So the next,
Okay.
because we have to talk about it, obviously. The next one I've got is which placement is most likely to make friends with the boogeyman under the bed?
So good. I
I'm
love
curious
my
if you pick
answer.
my second choice because I
I
had a
love-
second choice. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. I feel like super similar for this, like the same reason.
Yeah. What's your reason for?
I love that we
Aquarius
both went
moon?
moon though.
No,
for
I went
this.
for Mars.
Oh,
I went Pisces Mars.
Oh, I thought you. Wow.
Can you tell me your Aquarius moon delineation?
So I pick Aquarius moon because this is gonna be a little emo, but Aquarius moons tend to spend a lot of time alone, and they tend to spend a lot of time doing weird stuff alone that like typically wouldn't necessarily be like what everyone else is doing. So most kids are afraid of the boogeyman under the bed, but not the Aquarius moon who is by myself all the time. I'd want to befriend him instead.
Interesting. I have been romantically scarred by some Aquarius moon, so sometimes I try to pretend they're not
I'm thinking
there.
of a child Aquarius moon, not an adult, right? I'm trying to think of like children.
Well, I like how you also took it different and being like, yeah, like Emily, like who would befriend the literal monster under their bed? I was thinking like, who's most like, okay, so my delineation comes from Pisces Mars. So Mars is in
I know Pisces.
detriment?
I know Pisces Mars.
Or
No,
fall?
Pisces Mars isn't. There's nothing.
No,
It's
I
not-
thought Mars is.
It's Jupiter is exalted in, or is Jupiter rules Pisces? Pisces. It's not. No, it's Pisces Mercury.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well-
no, Mars is in fall in Cancer, and then
And-
Libra and Taurus.
oh, that's right. So my Pisces Mars delineation comes from it's similar in this. It's in the similar sense of like Mars doesn't really do great in water signs. That's not Scorpio Mars. It's home. Oh, it's home turf basically.
Yeah, water signs don't know how to fight.
Yeah, but
Mars is like
Pisces Mars being wise enough to be like, the way I'm going to be protected is by collecting friends to fight my battles for me.
yes.
And I say this as someone who knows several Pisces Mars, who's like not the most like in your face person, because they literally employ like stronger Mars placed people to do their dirty work for them. So in my brain, I was like, well, that's someone like being friends with the boogeyman under your bed. Like that's another collection to the Pisces.
True.
That's
Mars.
someone to help protect you.
Fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where my brain.
Because that boogeyman under the bed protects you from the monster in the closet.
You're like calling on Jeepers Creepers, like, hey, I got a guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny how, we're thinking similarly but differently, because I was almost thinking about Mars at first, and then I was like, no, I need a moon sign.
And it comes from you looking at it being like, yeah, like friendship as a way to like fulfill your emotional needs. And I'm thinking like friendships, like allies to protect
Must
yourself.
protect, yeah. Wow.
Our Pisces moon and a Cancer Mars right there.
True.
This is
And then
so
our Scorpio Mercury
fascinating.
being like, yes, and hard.
Oh, guys, I'm so happy we're doing this.
It's
I'm
so
learning
fun.
so
I'm
much.
living for
fun.
this.
We have to make this like a series. We're gonna have to keep doing this.
I'm
I'll
ready.
Better
Keep
questions.
Okay.
doing this more
All
often.
right. So the last one that I've got for
I
you,
know I can play against you too.
the last one I've got
Yes.
for you is, which placement is more likely to spend their last dime on a vice?
It's fucking
Any vice at all, but a vice.
Is it easy? Is it easy?
Their
though?
last dime.
I mean, really think about this, Shannon. There are so many options.
Okay.
Really think about this, because I have like 4 answers.
I know. I'm just thinking of
Their
Last
last
dime.
dime.
You've got $80 in your bank account, and
On a
the
vice?
weed man.
Can I employ my Jupiter card?
I was also employing the Jupiter card.
We have to make that, I want to make that like a theme for the next time we do this, is that you each get one Jupiter card for the entire game.
Oh, and then,
Perfect.
oh my God! Wait, and then
We can do a
another
Saturn card
level-
too.
Yeah, and another level is also only 1 planet use.
Mm.
That's hard.
Yeah, we could just
I
make
like
it harder as
this.
we keep going.
Oh my God! Okay, ready?
We love it. We Mercury people love games.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Oh!
Close. Also close. Okay, last dime.
You're
Those
so-
fucking fire signs. Sagittarius Jupiter is literally ready to be like, I'm gonna catch that flight. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna go to that
That's
party.
That's
I'm gonna drink
really
that
true.
drink. I'm gonna spend my money on that thing. They're just like fucking throwing it around. But
Meanwhile-
it's Sagittarius Jupiter is Jupiter in domicile versus.
Got marker
Did
on
you
the
did you drop?
Yeah, I did. Sorry. But anyway, so you were saying Jupiter in domicile,
Yes, versus Cancer Jupiter,
which is exalted Jupiter. And what I've learned from looking at people with exalted and domicile, they're always like, oh, I'm so blessed. It's such a gift. But what happens when you don't enact boundaries? Everyone benefits from boundaries,
Exalted Jupiter.
especially when things come so, like with exalted and domicile Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck and abundance. And so when you have 0 boundaries on your abundance and how you feel about your perception of spending and like boundaries and the way you expel abundance and your sense of like how much luck you have, like that means that in your brain, like in this Cancer Jupiter's brain, they're like, it'll come back. I'm gonna hit big again.
That's Jupiter in
Okay.
general, which is why I went for
Yes.
Sag Jupiter, because
Also,
Cancer Jupiter for me makes me almost I feel like they'd almost think twice, because as much as they want to spend, they're also trying to think about making sure that they still get to be somewhat cozy.
well, the thing I was thinking about the Cancer Jupiter though is that it's moon ruled. So if they're going through some emotional crisis, or
Oh, they're ready to
emotional-
spend.
They're gonna throw it all away.
Yeah.
So that's where I was thinking versus Sagittarius Jupiter, like the ruler, like
they're just throwing it away because it's fun.
yeah. Versus
And they're
this
like-
one is like out of like I'm disassociating right now, which is why like I was like That's
yeah,
how
but
I
I
do
think
it.
about a Sagittarius Jupiter, who's just like, fuck. Yeah, you're right. I got $80 left.
Let's
We're
spend
doing
it.
let's go get some weed.
Versus like Cancer Jupiter's like, I might be in a dark place, but I'm gonna keep spending.
Yeah.
Also, Cancer Jupiter's, I just feel like it's right because I've had to deal with a lot of Cancer Jupiters lately.
You have been. It's very random.
Very, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
That was amazing.
All right.
Good times.
That was
Good
fun.
times.
So now that we've wrapped up game
Yay!
time, we're gonna get to the dirty
okay.
deets of a project that you two are working on. I want to hear all about it. Tell me.
Okay.
Well, have you ever felt like an old cardigan just under
Someone's
your
bed.
bed, under someone's
And then someone
bed?
puts you on and says that you're their favorite.
I think so. Yeah. I think I have.
Well, a wise
Taylor
woman.
Swift has.
And she's made a whole career out of plucking our heartstrings in a way unlike any
A wise
other.
sage.
God, this is such a
No,
dramatic
amazing.
intro, and I'm obsessed. I just was looking at because Emily. So obviously, if you're listening to this, you should be like watching.
This will be on
because,
YouTube primarily.
We've been physically showing things, but Emily is modeling the Taylor Swift cardigan with the 3 stars that might make us think that there is a third album connected to folklore and evermore.
Also, you drew stars. You drew stars.
You drew scars around my stars. Yeah,
And now I'm bleeding.
Taylor loves a good ass specific reference. But anyway, so our project obviously is about Taylor Swift. And if you're listening to this and you just cringed at the name Taylor Swift, I would like to gracefully change your mind. So both Emily and I have interesting, not like tumultuous in like a negative way, but just like in and out relationships with Taylor Swift. We both, obviously we are, millennial women. So we grew up with Taylor Swift, being in our song. I was listening to her debut album in 8th grade. Like she's been there. So, but we have been unpacking why we didn't like Taylor Swift. But that's only the part of our podcast, because most of our podcast is just talking about astrology and Taylor Swift.
And it's a ride.
It's
been a ride
so
already.
Fun. We have 2 episodes out already. We are recording another episode. We'll have another episode this week on Thursdays. We release on Jupiter Day for the Jupiter Queens, aka 3 Sagittariuses, aka me and Emily and Taylor Swift.
We love it. Full circle.
No, yeah, she is a Sagittarius and a Cancer moon and a Scorpio rising. And we have many explanations as to why she's a Scorpio rising. There is dispute amongst the astrologer world. People think that she may not be a Scorpio rising. Her birth time isn't like 100% confirmed or anything. So
there's wiggle room for argument.
Yes, there's room for argument, but I will not accept.
It will have to come from Taylor Swift herself.
Yes, literally no one else.
Maybe her mother.
Yeah.
And her mother.
An adjacent Taylor actual person.
Like
but
the Swift estate has to be like, all right, this is her birth time. She's
Swift
not
estate.
a Scorpio rising. I'd be like, all right, fine. But until then, like, you're going to have to pry it from my cold hands.
No, she is Mars ruled. It is, I mean, shit. We literally, on our first episode, I think we probably spent maybe half an hour just talking about, like, I think she's a Scorpio rising because of this. We have so much proof, so much evidence. But we are planning to, for each of our podcast episodes, we are going through each of her songs. We are literally, because it was just a random idea that I had that I texted Emily one day, and it wasn't even a podcast idea. It was just an idea of being like, it'd be fun, Emily. We should just listen to all of Taylor Swift's lyrics and just go through them all and like astrologically analyze them.
And then remember, we were like talking and reacting to Taylor Swift songs on like
on
our
FaceTime.
Weekly FaceTime routine calls. And Shannon's girlfriend Olivia was just like, hey guys, this would be a really cool podcast. And we were like,
And I was slightly hesitant to ask Emily to do a podcast because Emily has like a normal person real life job, whereas like I don't, I like private chef and I do these things and I do work, but I'm not working 9 to 5 weekdays, right? Or 9 to 6 or 7 or whatever. And Emily does. So I was nervous that I was like, I wanted to do, trust me, before I asked you to do the podcast, I had thought about how I was like, I want to have a podcast with Emily, but what if she's too busy? So
Shan, I'd always make time for you. I'd always make it work.
Yeah, but also this is a behemoth of a project.
Yeah, this is like our Saturn return project.
I mean, we'll probably be finishing. Yeah, literally, we'll be finishing up our Saturn return with this. We'll be doing this for years because
so
she has
much music,
literally
yeah.
150 plus songs and so many albums, and she's just gonna keep releasing albums as we go. And so we're not even gonna. We're gonna like have to keep catching up.
I mean, it's good.
So right now we are doing.
Hell yeah.
Right now we're doing the Fearless album because she just dropped the Fearless re-records because Taylor's getting her master's back. Yay.
Yeah,
artistic ownership of the work that she created. So we are following along and going through our first 2 episodes. Our first is like our pilot and get to know us, but also we dive into Taylor Swift's chart. Our second episode is about the Fearless era. And soon we will start going episode by episode, song by song, which means lyric by literal
We're
lyric.
literally going each line and we are doing everything. We are going to start, like, first of all, I also, as we do this, especially because we're going to physically read all the lyrics, I want to tally words that she uses all the time throughout her whole discography. Because the thing about Taylor Swift that's fascinating is she references her own music all the time within itself. Even retroactively, some of the things, so for instance, with the Fearless re-release, she released vault songs that were in her songwriting vault, but they were not released or recorded. So she recorded them presently, but some of the lyrics pop up in later albums. Like I'm thinking about, in Mr. Perfectly Fine, where it's Mr. Casually Cruel, and that pops up in Red and All Too Well. So you can see that even though that song wasn't released, something that was brewing in her brain, and she used that line somewhere else. And so releasing them now is almost like referencing future songs, but retroactively. Oh my God, that's kind of crazy.
You gotta love that she has all these oppositions in Cancer and Capricorn.
I was gonna say defying time.
And her Mercury is in Capricorn. And it's like, she has these extreme senses of time because
Capricorn, because Saturn is the planet of time, but Capricorn, she has a Capricorn Saturn and a Capricorn Mercury and Neptune and Uranus. Like all the millennials have Neptune and Uranus, Capricorn. But so she has Mercury and Saturn in Capricorn in her third house. So of course it's the fact third house rules writing, by the way. So she's of course making a career, Saturn, out of songwriting. So it's like, but she's doing this over literal so much spans of time. Like, and also making, and back to this Fearless re-release is already like #1 on Billboard. It has made her she's broken records for the consecutive #1s albums and songs on debut day. Like Taylor is literally unstoppable, and the hate on her
is just making her stronger.
Literally, that's what Mars does though. Well, and that's the thing. So I think everybody, and I low-key offended somebody, but not like whatever. Not intentionally, but it was a quick comment of like, I was just talking about Taylor Swift and she's like, I don't really like Taylor Swift. And I was like, well, you probably need to work on some internalized misogyny. Like, yeah, I've been there. Literally.
That's real Sagittarius.
Well, I mean,
no, for real. Literally, I don't care. But also,
because it's not your taste is one thing, but like to not like her is like, but why? She doesn't do anything. She doesn't bother anybody.
There is, and that's the thing though about her, which is fascinating, is like she is known for dating boys.
Yeah.
Okay. And what else? Like I
wish I was known for being well liked by the opposite sex. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right? Like having boyfriends all the time. Like
enough guys want to date her. It. Great. Good for her.
And Taylor has this ability to like, I mean, people, Mars,
extreme response.
Mars rising, and she has Pluto on the ascendant. It's like, it is truly, an extreme response. People will like vehemently hate her. And I'm just like, have you like listened to her music when people hate her? And I'm just like, have you like listened? Like really, really listen.
She's a poet.
Even the stuff from when she was a teenager,
She is one of the greatest songwriters of our generation.
I think of all time, honestly, to be completely honest with you. I think that like
she is
her, I can see where people maybe are like not into like her melodies or her like I can get where some of her songs are not to your taste.
She definitely has some corny music.
Right. But like I think it's pretty undeniable that like she is a fucking wordsmith on a whole other level. Like I don't know anyone right now that can do. I can't think of any songs that are more like maybe Tracy Chapman, but that's me talking about something totally different. But I think that she's lyrically one of the best ever.
But what I think about Taylor is I think about her song on Lover. If I was a man, but it's
The Man.
It's called The Man, but she talks about the whole song is about like I would be able to do this if I were a man. If I were a man, I'd be the man. But I think about this a lot. If Taylor Swift wrote the songs she writes for a man, no one would say shit. Obviously, there's some songs that are super specific teenage girl like, but I'm just thinking about
imagine a grown man singing 15.
I'm ready. Give it to me. But literally, yeah. So, but that idea of her songs, if someone else sang them, people would probably love it. But it's the fact that Taylor herself is so polarizing for no reason. The other thing too is, sure, she's known for dating men and having things happen to her, but the Kanye thing wasn't her fault. So much of what Taylor does is PR moves. Like her people move. What?
Ryan Adams covered her entire album.
Oh my God, that's right. Ryan Adams. Wow.
I go off on that because I hate him.
Yeah, so this one guitarist just literally just covered the entire. It was 1989, right? Yeah, the entire album of 1989. He just released it.
Loved it.
People loved it.
Well, I'm also thinking. Well, it's another
wow.
woman,
I want to talk about
Maggie
that during that 1989 era episodes.
Yeah, but like Maggie Rogers covering Tim McGraw, and suddenly everyone's like, "Wow, Tim McGraw's was really well written," and I was like, "Yeah." That was when she did that when she was like 15 years old. She wrote that type
and
of
that's
song.
why like I'm actually very excited for a lot of her re-records, and I understand that she started with Fearless, but I wish she would have started with the self-titled album, like the initial debut, because I would have loved to hear reimagined versions of those songs. I hope that she does it. I really do, but
she will. I think for instance, the only reason I think she would stop re-recording is if for some reason throughout this process she is able to get her literal actual masters back from motherfucking Scooter Braun. I was like Scott Borchetta's the other one, but
no, he sold it.
But he was the one who sold it. Scott Borchetta sold it to Scooter Braun. So if she was able to, for instance, maybe she'll record Fearless, whatever, she records another album. Maybe by then, maybe 2 albums from now on her re-records, some deal happens and she's able to actually get the other albums back. Maybe she doesn't re-record them. But I think that's the only reason she won't re-record everything is if she literally gets that shit back.
But even then, she's having such a blast revisiting her music.
I
she is a Catch the Moon.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
I need to hear an updated.
She'll do it.
I need to hear an updated version of Teardrops on My Guitar. Like I need to hear an updated of the song that started it all. Really.
I need her to drop the Drew and put back in the U. Because fun fact, did you know that the original lyrics to that song that she wrote did not have Drew in it, as in Drew
I know.
looks at me.
I know what Drew.
It was you instead.
I remember the Drew from the music video was like super fucking hot.
Taylor Hilton.
They just try to make Taylor straight.
Well, that's a whole other can of worms.
Anyway, fades into background. So we are the twin fire signs. Yes. It's so funny. If you actually listen to us, we can just speak words and they just like are her lyrics because she's written every lyric.
I feel like I have a theory that there is a Taylor Swift lyric and
everything.
For every astrology delineation possible. At the rate she's going, there will be
That's
one.
kind of amazing.
I can't wait.
And I love that.
Because we're already going to have, so every season is going to be the album. a specific album. We're gonna try as hard as we can to follow along with the re-records.
Yeah, but if she lags, like if she for some reason, like if we finish the Fearless episodes and she still hasn't released a re-record, we're just gonna do like Lover, and then we'll do folk. Like we're gonna do because she's not gonna re-record Lover, Folklore, and Evermore because
after,
those
right? Yeah.
she owns all that stuff. So everything from debut to Reputation is gonna be re-recorded. So if we end up waiting,
we have 3 albums to
Love it.
analyze.
I
as
got
well.
plenty to
I
do.
love that.
So
Yeah. So.
and it's gonna be so fun. I'm hype. And so by the end, we'll just be literally our brains will be Taylor Swift's.
My Spotify
as we said-
algorithm has been
As
wrecked.
we said on one of our the Do the Roses Align, when I was joking about this, I was like, yeah, we're just gonna completely fall into this pit. Like the pit, I will have to tunnel from this pit to the Bachelor pit in June. Like I'm gonna be like, all right,
I get it.
back in.
I
Can't wait.
I'm right there with
But-
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Twin Fire Signs, we are on Twitter. Twin Fire Signs. So the Twitter is harder. It's Twin Fire _signs because Taylor Swift Twitter stands. We could not fucking get just Twin Fire Signs, and Twin Fire Signs pod is 1 letter too long for an @ It could have been Twin Fire Signs.
That's so dumb. Twitter's so stupid.
I know. I was like, give me one
Yeah,
more
that's
letter. So Twin Fire _signs. We are on Instagram. Okay, we're on Instagram. We haven't posted. We need to get our Instagram shit together. We're
I
both
know. We're taking our
we're
time.
both Saturn Venus people who are struggle, and I'm like, Instagram.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll just immediately all of a sudden we're just gonna like post there. But we are Twin Fire Signs Pod
Mhm.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can also follow. We have an account for just Chart Twins, just in case we have more podcast
Love that.
ideas,
Yes.
which we might.
Yes.
But
But then where do I go to follow you on social media?
well, you go to follow me at Astrology Chef.
And if you want to follow me, you follow me at Starry Eyed Data.
Starry Eyed Data, 2 D's in there.
Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so because sometimes we so easy to talk so fast. Starry Eyed Data, Starry Eyed.
Starry Eyed Data.
Yes,
And that's where you can find us.
And we have we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, we are on almost everything. The only thing we're not on yet is Apple because your girl is lazy. Well, anyway,
Thank you for coming.
Jess, thanks for having us on.
Of
Loves
course,
ya.
Of course.
Thank you
I
so much
cannot
for
wait to
having
have you
us
again.
on.
Can't wait to listen.
Oh, hey, and guess what? Just so you know, we love you.
To
To the moon and to Saturn.